That's what I was thinking. Hi everyone, I'm going to react to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 10, I believe. Episode 98, That Which is Inherited. And last episode, Bakugo, it was so awesome. They won that match in I believe they said under 5 minutes or 4 minutes, I don't know, with no casualties and everything. Oh, how super cool. But now we're about to get into Midoriya versus Chainsaws rematch. So yeah, I'm excited. And before we get into this episode, if you guys have a reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting my Patreon at patreon.com/feelingme. And now let's start this episode. And here we go. You know, I've just been sitting through here. Like, I went back and rewatched that scene between Midoriya and the previous owner of One for All. And then started thinking about what he said about he needed to, he was gonna, I guess he needed to acquire 6 more quirks, 6 more powers, and he needed to learn them and he needed to control them and whatnot. So here I started going through my mind again, because there was 8 people that basically got One for All, right? And he said that he needed to learn 6 more. If he needs to learn. So when he says 6 more and there's been 8 people, I'm like, okay, Deku was quirkless, so that is 7 people, right? He just got 1. He just developed another quirk, a Black Whip, but he just doesn't know how to control it yet, right? So that means there's my mind is not working. Okay, if he needs to learn 6 more, that means he will learn 7 quirks total. He just learned Black Whip, so that means there's 6 more that he needs to learn. Deku was already quirkless, so I started thinking, I guess when I was doing my mental calculation, I'm like, was All Might quirkless before they started? And then I started Googling stuff, and then I came on this website that said that All Might was quirkless. So if that's true, then what power is he gonna be learning from All Might? Like, it's not adding up to me. 8 people total. Assuming, well, we know Deku was quirkless. Assuming All Might was also quirkless, that means there's 6 people 6 people's powers that he needs to learn to develop, right? But he just learned 1 of them, so it should be 5 more quirks, not 6. Did I not read that right? Or did he just say that you need to learn 6 quirks, including his own? Oh, nuh-uh. See, it said you'll have 6 more quirks manifest inside you. So that means there's 7 quirks total that he needs to learn and control. So what's the 7? I'm confused. Or are they not including Deku among those 8 people? Because they said that the course went through 8 people, right? Is Deku not included in that amount? If Deku is not included in that, then it makes sense. Because if Deku is not included, that means there's 8 people before him, right? That means if All Might was quirkless, it means 7 quirks that he needs to learn, and he just learned 1, so that will make it 6. How many people has? Let me just make sure. I'm like, my mind is not working, so I'm like Googling stuff right now. Is Deku the ninth user. Okay. Okay, now that makes more sense. So he's the ninth. Okay. So Deku is the ninth. There's been 8 people prior. All Might was quirkless. So there's 8 people. The original had the first holder has the one for all. And then you have the 6 other people that got who got the one for all, previously, right? So Deku now needs to learn to control one for all the power itself, and then he's going to be developing his other powers on top of this black whip that he needs to learn and control. Okay, that's a lot of powers. I feel like during most of this reaction, I was just here, like, just absorbing what was happening and everything. And that's because not usually, sometimes, there's like, even though we've seen Monoma before and I'm sure they explained his quirks before, but I forgot how. Like, I knew his copy, but I forgot a little bit about how it worked. But then you have these external other 3 people, I guess, that have these powers, and how they control them and use them and everything. And then I'm reading this stuff and I'm trying to compute exactly what their powers are, and then I'm seeing things play out on screen, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are they doing with their powers? So it's like there's a whole lot of thinking going on in my mind as I'm watching what I'm watching, and it's like when I'm in that mode of thinking, I can't really be talking about what's happening, because I wanna be able to follow what they're trying to do, and sometimes I don't really do that. Like, I don't really follow it that well. But in this particular case, I feel like I sort of got the gist of what was going on. Okay, so previously, after Bakugo's match, awesome, they were like, okay, Deku is similar to Bakugo, so they need to attack him first. That's what they were saying last episode before we got into this one. But then when Deku came face to face with Monoma, he started talking, a smart person after seeing the Bakugo match will be going after Deku. But then a smarter person, or another smart person, or whatever, will be thinking that, okay, they will be thinking that we will go after Deku, but we will go after the others instead, like the support, because Bakugo was able to do what he did because of the others' support. So it's like, okay, if Deku doesn't have that support, then it will be easier, I guess, to take him down. So he's trying to do this mental thing with Deku, trying to make him think, we're going after your people, so you better go and help them, or something or other like that. Thereby, Deku revealing where the others were and all of that. But Deku wasn't really falling for that, even though there were the other 3 in Monoma's group were after, the others. Excuse me. Were after Deku's teammates. Deku was not really falling for that. And then, even before the match started, Monoma asked Shinso, how did he brainwash Deku the first time around? And then he said that he didn't particularly know him, but he insulted his friend. And that's what got him to respond, and, he manipulating, him brainwashing Deku. So Monoma was going off of that, and then he started speaking about how could Bakugo keep a smile on his face, especially since he was the reason why All Might lost his powers and everything. That's where the anger came from. That's where that's when the power started going. He developed this new power, activated, and he um started losing control, because the fact that Monoma mentioned that Bakugo was the reason why All Might lost his powers, that's where the anger came from. And then in that moment, like the holder said, he said that Deku was thinking in that moment that he needed to capture Monoma, and that's why that quirk, the particular quirk, activated, because it was good for that. That was his quirk, and it was good for that. And yeah, so he started when he was like talking to Deku, and he's like, "Can't you speak?" At first, I was thinking that maybe it's because Deku was being brainwashed. When he's being brainwashed, really, I don't think he has the ability to speak. He can only do what the other person is telling him to do, right? That's why I was thinking that that's why he's not speaking to this particular holder of One for All. But then when I started thinking back to when he was having the dream with all the holders and everything, and they were showing exactly how he got his powers, and that story between him, One for All and All for One, the brothers, and all of that, he wasn't really speaking in the dream either. So I don't know. So this particular holder just told him that One for All is growing, and that there are all these, how the power gets transferred, and it gets basically there's like an amalgamation of all the quirks that One for All has been through inside One for All, and it's not One for All, it's not getting bigger. All these powers are, I guess, getting bigger as well and getting stronger and stuff. And he needed to control it. He needed to control his emotions. Like, anger is a good thing, it's a good source of power, but just don't let it overwhelm you. You need to control that. You need to control your heart so that you can control this power and everything. And yeah, so after that talk with the holder, Uraraka slapped him, woke him up out of the trance, out of the brainwashing. And Monoma was like, I'm not gonna let this moment pass. He started attacking, and everybody started attacking each other and all of that. When Deku lost control of his powers, All Might could tell that something was wrong. So he went to Eraserhead and then asked him to stop the match because something was wrong. I found it funny that just as I got into the episode, I mentioned the fact that I felt that these matches were fillers, sort of. And then they started the episode with All for One in prison, and I think they were saying that, like, the people that were monitoring him were saying that they were gonna transfer him again or something or other like that, and that then One for All, no, One for All, All for One was saying something about he can hear his brother's thoughts or something. He can, I don't know, something along those lines. And I'm like, okay, does he have something to do with what's going on with Deku and his powers right now? How would he know? Well, he's the one that gave his brother the power, so he should know something about how the power works, right? I'm developing a headache. Gran Torino. They kept mentioning Gran Torino during these episodes, and I'm like, oh, when am I gonna see him? And then he showed up in this episode. Because after what happened with Deku and his dream and all that, he contacted Gran Torino because he wanted to know if his previous master also went through something like that. And Gran Torino told him about this particular moment where what was the master's name? I forgot. Like, she told him about also having this dream, and then this person telling her that the time has not come yet and everything like that. So I feel like that's also what the first holder told Deku in his dream. So that means the time is coming for something. So based on what this episode, how this episode went, you feel like the time that they're talking about is all the powers, all the quirks inside One for All manifesting, and Deku having to control these powers, all these powers. I don't know. Guess we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you want to see my reaction to the next episode, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/Philomene. And you can also see the full length of this reaction there as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. We don't talk about Bruno, no. We don't talk about Bruno. But